Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
As you evolve your workload, evolve your procedures also. I mean, it is sort of an important step that you always regularly revise your SOPs. You should set up regular game days to review and validate that all the procedures are effective and teams are familiar with them. You should anticipate failure. That is an important principle because everything fails every time. That is something which you have to understand. So perform some pre-mortem of your resources as well. Pre-mortem exercises can be helpful to identify potential sources of failures so that they can be removed or mitigated. You have to test for your failure scenarios and validate your understanding of their impact. Okay. And then lastly, learn from your operational failures. So you have set some operating procedures. If they are not suitable, if they are not very effective, you have to learn from them and you have to drive improvement through lessons learned from your operational events. So for you to get operational excellence on cloud, these services are of great importance. AWS Config, CloudFormation, Trusted Advisor, Amazon Inspector, VPC, Flow Logs, and CloudTrail. So AWS Config is a service which tracks all the resources like EBS or EC2 instances, and it verifies that new resources which are created are complying with rules or not. So config is sort of something which tracks and checks whether they are complying to rules or not. CloudFormation, we know that it is something which creates templates and stacks for your infrastructure, for your resources to automate them. Trusted Advisor is a service which is of super importance when you are interested to learn more about best practices on security, reliability, performance, cost, and service limits. Trusted Advisor will sort of give you inputs to optimize your performance, your cost. You might want to check your service limits. You might want to check your security issues. So Trusted Advisor is something which is of importance for you to always keep an eye on. It will give you recommendations based on your usage, based on your security loopholes. Okay. And then this Amazon Inspector is a service by AWS which checks for any vulnerabilities in your EC2 instances. And then Amazon VPC Flow Logs will log the network traffic, and these logs can always be monitored. You can check the logs. And then CloudTrail is also a log API service which will allow you to check the logs in your system. So CloudWatch is again which is a service which is used to track the metrics and trigger alarms when something of unusual nature happens. Okay, so that is something which you have to always loop back for. 1 second. So CloudWatch will so this is how CloudWatch will sort of help you to understand what are your operations to be done on any CloudWatch alarm. So there are resources which CloudWatch will monitor, and it will sort of understand what metrics it will have to get your metrics from. So based on that metrics, you will generate some alarms, or you will generate some notifications, or you might also perform some auto scaling. Okay, and these statistics can be read in AWS console, or your as a statistics to your statistics consumer. So you might have some statistics consumer like Splunk maybe, or any other third-party tool which is interested to read your statistics. Give me 1 minute, I'll just come. All right, so this was about CloudWatch. So let's look at some sample questions now. To monitor CPU utilization on your RDS DB instance, you set up a CloudWatch alarm with a threshold of 70% over 3 periods of 5 minutes. Okay, if CPU utilization goes up to 80% for 10 minutes, how many alarms you will receive? So look at the consideration: 70% for over 3 periods of 5 minutes. If it goes above 80% for 10 minutes, how many alarms will you receive? Time to make a guess. You there, guys?
Not sure.
Yeah. So this you have to understand. Yeah. So how does CloudWatch work? So it will work for you have configured the threshold to be 70%, right? And you're telling that after 3 periods of 5 minutes each, if this happens to be above 70%, then you trigger it. So the scenario now is CPU utilization goes up to 80% for 10 minutes. But it is just 10 minutes now. So the alarm is not triggered yet.
Zero. Yeah.
Yes, that's what. And that is what is confusing here. And this is one of the exam questions,
Okay.
All right. Another question, sample exam question. You are responsible for a web application running on Amazon EC2 instances. You want to track the number of 404 errors that users see in the application. Which of the following can you choose from? VPC flow logs, CloudWatch metrics, Amazon CloudWatch to get web server logs from EC2. Web applications on Amazon AWS never have 404 errors. You may want to eliminate obviously wrong answers.
B and C is not. I don't think it will track 404.
No, so let's go from top. Amazon uses Amazon VPC flow logs. VPC flow logs are not suitable here because they are only for network layer 3 and layer 4 level logs. Okay. CloudWatch metrics is not suitable because here we are talking about users 404 errors. So CloudWatch metric will get the application and the resources and the infrastructure metrics. So it is not suitable. Then use CloudWatch to get logs, to get web server logs from EC2, or a web application on AWS never have 404 errors. So why will that be the case? Why will application on AWS not have 404 errors? That's not possible. That's wrong answer. So the right answer is this. You choose this thing. You choose Amazon CloudWatch to get logs, get the web server logs from EC2 instances. CloudWatch is the service to get the logs from applications.
Audit trail is there, no? That I was thinking that is the logs from the application.
Yeah, it is, but you have to get it from the something, right? You have to get it from something. You have to get from some resource. So in the second option, in the B option, it did not mention where resource is used. So obviously your application will log some custom logs and they will generate logs, but those logs are available against a resource in AWS, and that resource is EC2.
Okay.
So because that EC2 is not mentioned there, it is not clear, specifying clearly that what logs, what metrics you will get it. If you are not selecting EC2, you might go and watch in the CloudWatch and you will get some infrastructure related logs. But if you are referring to application logs, you have to select the EC2 instance and then say, I'm getting 404 errors. Let me see what is that.
Okay.
You have written an application that needs access to a particular bucket in Amazon S3. Application will run on EC2 instance. What should you do to give application access to the bucket securely? Application needs access to a particular bucket in S3. Okay, it runs on EC2. What should you give to the application access to bucket securely? So obvious wrong answers. If you want to eliminate store access key, anywhere you see something like store access key, you should sort of assume, unless you have your best judgment again, but you should assume that that's not a right option on any time.
Yeah, B is the answer right there.
Yeah. Attach IAM role to Amazon EC2 instance with a policy that grants it access to bucket. Store access key in something called as home.aws.credentials, obviously wrong. Then use bucket policies to make bucket public. That's not, because if you give it public, everyone will have access to it. Making the bucket public will be too broad thing. You don't want to do that. So the obvious right answer is this. All right. And then some exam considerations you may want to make is monitor metrics across the system, provide alerts for any anomalies, anomalous condition, automate response to metrics where appropriate, and IAM roles are easier and safer than keys and passwords. This is something what you have to consider. All right. So with this, we have come to this module end as well. Then there is this a course wrap up, which is of importance. But before that, the course wrap up is just a wrap up of what we have discussed and some next steps if you want to take. Let's continue the labs now. So I have activated lab 3 for you. If you log into the account on your Quick Labs, springpeople.quicklabs.com, you will see lab 3 is already activated for you. Let's get started on that. So I have activated this lab 4 also for you now. Lab 3 is activated. Open the lab. In this lab, what will you do? Is you are creating a VPC, right? And in this, you have this is the architecture of the entire setup. What you will do? You have an application server, and then you are that is outside your application, outside your VPC. You are creating a VPC maybe to do this database connectivity. Let's look at the steps at a high level. Create a VPC. Task 1, create subnets. Task 2, create an internet gateway. Configure route tables and create a security group for the app server. Launch app server in public subnet. Yeah, it is in the same VPC public subnet, or okay, it is external to that. Yeah, so there is a shared VPC in which your database is there, and your lab VC you will have 2 subnets. This is little different. So in that you will create a VPC connection, VPC peering connection, and interact between 2 VPCs. So this will be a good learning experience for you. Let's get started on this. So this lab has a time of 30 minutes, if I'm not wrong. Yes, this is 30 minutes approximately. To complete that, your time starts now. All right, I think we have 30 minutes done on this lab.
That application is still, that inventory app is not loading. Okay, the like previous issue only.
Even in this script also, right?
Yeah, the
In
user
this
data I copied. Yeah, it is not working.
So did you proceed with other steps, further steps?
Yeah, pairing I'm doing. Once it is done, it is done, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No worries. You can continue. And we are not configuring SSH route also, right? SSH route in the security groups. So we will not be able to log in also.
Security groups? I didn't get what.
We are not giving SSH access, right?
Huh.
We are not leaving port 22 for SSH access. So I was trying to, if you remember, I was just trying to connect using console. Then I remember that we cannot connect from console because that connects on SSH port number 22. We have to expose that also.
Yeah.
But that's not in the steps. So they don't give you during these steps to, I mean, ideally you don't need it. So the scripts will run appropriately and your inventory app should download. Somehow there is some, I'm not sure if there is some change in the scripts and this is not working.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done that pairing also. That's what the other steps I cannot do. That inventory app is not loading. So
Yeah, sorry, I was talking on mute. So did you establish the peering connection?
yeah.
All right.
But that's what that inventory app is not loading, no? So I cannot do that step, last step.
Yeah, I see. I understand. Yeah. Give me 1 minute. So I'll start. So go ahead and start the lab 4 also. I have started. You
Oh,
can
in lab
jump
I
out.
can give. In lab I'll do this. Okay.
Yeah, you can end the lab and jump to lab 4. As such, the content is done. The topics we have done. We just have a warm up thing. And what are the next steps other than the AWS Solution Architect Associate? What are the next steps? We have to talk about that. That's it.
Okay.
Are you able to see the lab 4?
Yeah, I started. I logged in. Checking
All
that
right.
steps.
Great. Okay. Yeah. You wanted to talk about that? It's understood. So here we
Inspect
are
your
focusing
VPC.
on, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me talk about that. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
So here we are trying to create a highly available environment for our application. Okay, so this is how the architecture will look like after you finish the lab. So you will have 2 app servers. Basically, you will have an ELB and you will have 2 instances of app servers, and you will have RDS DB. One is on multi-AG, which will be standby, and one will be master. So it takes 40 minutes to finish, and this is how it is. You inspect your VPC first, you check it. This is you are basically selecting your VPC and inspecting your VPC. Then you will create a load balancer. Assuming that your VPC is working fine, you will proceed with these steps now. You will create an application load balancer. So steps for creating VLB. So you have to select in the lab VPC, public subnet, private subnet. You have to configure the security groups, enable web access for your load balancer. And this is about advanced health checks. This is something what you have to specify to make sure that your instances can take over if one instance goes down. So you will say healthy threshold 2 and interval is 10. So every 10 seconds it will perform the check. And if it is failing twice in a row, it will be considered as unhealthy. Okay. Then you register the targets. That's it. That is on the ALB. Then you create auto scaling groups. In auto scaling groups, you have to define your AMI, which AMI to choose from. Okay. So AMI, we have to expose that from our current application, and then you select which instance to choose for your scaling group, because you have to use the same EC2 instance for creating those many amount of EC2 instance, right? So it will take the AMI. Which AMI are you using for your instance? And then you will specify which type of instances should be spinned up, and then you give some names for that, and you give the user data in the group only. In this auto scaling group, you specify that this is my user data. So according to this configuration, AMI type and configuration details, it will spin up those many EC2 instances for you. You will add storage, you will configure security group, everything you will do it in this configuration only. So this is your auto scaling group, and then you will create a launch configuration for that auto scaling group to start up. Okay. Then you will specify load balancing group, and you will specify the initial size. What should be the initial size? And what here you see you are specifying the minimum size, maximum size, and desired size in the launch group. So at any given point in time, it will maintain the minimum instance desired. So this can be bigger. Max can be bigger, obviously, and desired can be bigger as well. But minimum size will be the minimum amount of EC2 instances that will be running at any given point in time. Okay. Then you update your security groups.
So what is the desired minimum, maximum? Okay, but desired means what?
Desired means that will be running at the desired capacity. Okay. With the normal application flow, it will be running at a desired capacity. But if the application level is access is very less, it will fall down to minimum capacity.
Okay.
If there is no usage, so desired is something which is sort of average. But ideally, we will maintain it somewhere in between these two things. Here you have min and max as 2, which is not ideally you will do. but max will be sort of 6 maybe, and min will be 2. Desired will be somewhere in between that.
Okay.
Then you update security groups to configure your ELB and all. This is what we have been doing earlier as well. Then you also update the database security group. Then lastly, you test the application. And for you to test the high availability, you may sort of terminate one of the instance to see that your other instances are coming up and serving the request or not.
But
just one
the
step where you terminate, and then you will see, inventory app is not coming up. So without that, I mean, it's still, you carry out these steps for you to get a feel of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So your time is 40 minutes for this lab. Maybe you will be finishing it early also because you have repeated some steps already. You can finish it faster.
Okay.
So start the lab. I'll be here. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm stuck in the step. And
what is
step launch the configuration, launching configuration, right? So what is it? 37.
Step number
task
37.
3. 37. 37 auto scaling group in that.
Yeah. So you have to select the AMI, right?
The AMI is not coming. That Amazon Linux too. Something else is coming.
So you will first. What is the AMI you are getting?
I'm getting many others, like the first one, AWS Marketplace is there, no? Under that, the Hive 3, like that, Cortex.
On the left hand side, there is something called My AMI. If you see that, click on that.
Nothing
you will
happens.
see Amazon link.
My AMS, nothing is.
Is it empty? Is it empty?
My AMS is, if I click, nothing is there. It's just
it is empty, right? Okay. No worries. Go to the standard first page. Let me show you 1 second. Can you see the screen, by the way?
Yeah, I can see this.
I have the console, right?
Yeah.
So you are in this line, right? You are in auto scaling group. Create auto scaling group, right?
Yeah.
So, no, first let's go to auto scaling groups.
I've not started any EC2 instance. It's not mentioned anywhere.
1 second. You have this auto scaling groups here. You will say create auto scaling group. Okay, and you will select. You will create a launch configuration, which.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.